Skol Nation, stop right now. U.S. Bank Stadium is shaking after 3 earthquakes hit Minnesota in less than 48 hours. First tremor? A national media outlet just labeled the Vikings with a word that makes the entire North cringe. Second, your special teams coordinator admitted the Bears didn't beat you, you beat yourselves, and he said it out loud. Third, trade whispers for a veteran quarterback are flooding league offices, and the name will make you scream. Insiders say one decision could erase J.J. McCarthy's future in Minnesota. If you bleed purple harder than you hate the Packers, hit like right now. Because the first story cuts deep. Bleacher Report just called the Vikings pretenders, and the evidence they used is brutal. Stay locked. There's a double cliffhanger at the end that involves Green Bay clearing $22 million in cap space. The word dropped like a hammer. Bleacher Report writer Brad Gagnon analyzed all 21 playoff-eligible teams, separating contenders from pretenders, and Minnesota got sorted into the pile nobody wants. His verdict? The Vikings are pretenders. Not borderline, not on the bubble. Pretenders. Here's his exact reasoning. The offense has been stuck in neutral. J.J. McCarthy has struggled regardless of injuries, and the defense has lost something this season. Gagnon went further, saying it would be a shock if Minnesota made the playoffs at this point. That's not analysis, that's a burial. Now let's talk about why that label stings, but might not be entirely wrong. The Vikings sit at 4 wins and 6 losses in last place in the NFC North. They just lost to the Chicago Bears 19-17 in a game they should have won, and the playoff picture is getting smaller in the rearview mirror. 7 games remain, and the schedule is a minefield. 2 games against the Packers, 1 against the Lions, and a road trip to Seattle. The winnable games? Dallas, Washington, and the Giants. But here's the problem. Minnesota's offensive line has shuffled through 5 different starting lineups this season. Key players like McCarthy, Aaron Jones, Jonathan Greenard, and Andrew Van Ginkel have all missed significant time. The injuries are real, and they're crushing this roster. But Gagnon's point about McCarthy is the one that hurts most. The young quarterback has shown grit, including 2 fourth-quarter games with multiple touchdowns, and he threw what should have been the game-winning touchdown against Chicago with under 1 minute left. But development has been slow, and patience is running thin among parts of the fan base. Do you believe J.J. McCarthy can still be the guy? Drop your honest take below. And if you think calling the Vikings pretenders is premature for a talented roster getting healthy at the right time, smash that like button and let Bleacher Report know the North isn't done with us yet. But as painful as that label is, the next story reveals how that Bears loss happened, and your special teams coordinator just admitted the Vikings gifted Chicago the win. The explanation is shocking. Less than 1 minute to go. Vikings leading 17-16. J.J. McCarthy just threw a dagger touchdown to take the lead. All Minnesota had to do was kick off, cover, and win. Then Devin Duvernay caught the ball at the 4-yard line and returned it 56 yards to the Vikings' 40. 3 runs later, Chicago kicked a field goal with 0 seconds on the clock to rip the hearts out of every Vikings fan watching. The question everyone asked, how did Duvernay get that far? Special teams coordinator Matt Daniels gave an answer that will make you furious. Here's what he said, word for word. I've been in the league now 8 years, played football a long time, and I've never felt the way I felt after that football game. A lot of respect for what the Chicago Bears, their unit, Devin Duvernay, all this and that. But I mean, it could have been anybody. If you got a son or anybody. All he did was just catch it and run back to the field. Everybody just kind of got washed inside, and it wasn't anything that they did more so than a lack of us maintaining our leverage. Translation? The Bears didn't beat the Vikings. The Vikings beat themselves. Daniels admitted it could have been anyone returning that kick. Duvernay just had to catch it and run. Minnesota's coverage unit lost leverage, got washed inside, and gave Chicago a win they didn't deserve. That's a gift-wrapped victory for a team the Vikings should have buried. Now here's the subtle shot Daniels took at the Bears, and Vikings fans are loving it. He made it clear Chicago didn't do anything special. They just showed up and received a win. Minnesota handed them on a silver platter. Some fans can take pleasure in knowing the Bears are potential frauds riding one fluky play. But here's the worrying part. This kickoff coverage unit ranks 20th in the NFL, allowing 26.6 yards per return. That's not catastrophic, but it's not good enough when your offense is being run by a young, first-time starter who needs every advantage he can get. Special teams have to be on their A game down the stretch, and right now, they're a liability. Do you think Matt Daniels keeps his job if the Vikings miss the playoffs? Comment below. And if you believe this loss was the most painful of the season, hit like and let the world know Minnesota deserved better. But it gets worse. Because while the Vikings are trying to fix special teams and prove they're not pretenders, trade rumors for a veteran quarterback just exploded. And the name being floated is someone J.J. McCarthy fans will hate. This could change everything. Whispers became footsteps. League insiders say the Vikings are already being connected to a blockbuster trade for a veteran quarterback. And the target? Mac Jones. Yes, that Mac Jones. The former first-round pick currently with the San Francisco 49ers. Mike Florio of Pro Football Talk just floated the idea publicly, and it's gaining traction in some circles. Here's Florio's pitch. The Vikings need to bring in a veteran to compete with J.J. McCarthy in the 2026 offseason. Not as a guaranteed starter, but as someone who forces McCarthy to earn the job every single day. Florio believes McCarthy hasn't done enough to have the presumed starter role locked up next season. And a true competition could push him toward his ceiling or expose his limitations. The logic? McCarthy needs day-to-day pressure to develop. He's never going to be a gunslinger like Matthew Stafford. His game is about making the right play at the right time, and right now, the Vikings can't get 1 week where it all clicks. Florio added this. Right now, I am concerned the ceiling isn't where it needs to be because we can't have 1 week where it all clicks. That's a brutal assessment. Now here's where Mac Jones enters the picture. Florio says there won't be a ton of great options in 2026 free agency. Sam Darnold won't be available. Daniel Jones is likely locked up long-term with the Colts. The rest of the free agent class? Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, who turns 42 on December 3rd, Jimmy Garoppolo, Tyrod Taylor, Trey Lance, Marcus Mariota, Joe Flacco, and Gardner Minshew. That's a weak group compared to recent years. So why Mac Jones? Because the 49ers might be willing to move him for the right price, and he fits Kevin O'Connell's quarterback rehabilitation system perfectly. Jones has starting experience, knows what it takes to win in the playoffs after his time in New England, and could provide the exact competition McCarthy needs. But here's the fear. If the Vikings trade for Jones and he outplays McCarthy in camp, is JJ's future in Minnesota over before it ever truly began? This is a rumor, so take it with caution, but insiders say the Vikings front office is actively exploring veteran options. Do you think trading for Mac Jones is the right move, or should Minnesota ride or die with J.J. McCarthy? Drop your hottest take below. And if you believe the Vikings should give McCarthy 1 more full season without competition, hit like and show the front office where the fan base stands. But the stakes are higher than just one trade rumor. Because while Minnesota debates its quarterback future, the final story is about to reveal how all 3 of these crises connect, and what the Vikings must do in the next 48 hours to save their season. 3 stories. 1 collapsing season. Bleacher Report calls you pretenders, your special teams coordinator admits you gifted the Bears a win, and trade rumors for Mac Jones threaten to end J.J. McCarthy's era before it starts. This is crisis mode for the Minnesota Vikings, and Skol Nation is watching to see if this franchise fights back or folds under pressure. Let's connect the dots. The pretender label exists because the offense can't stay consistent, and the offense can't stay consistent because McCarthy is learning on the fly while the line shuffles every week and key weapons miss time. The special teams collapse against Chicago cost Minnesota a signature win that would have silenced the doubters and kept playoff hopes alive. And now, the front office is so worried about McCarthy's development that they're exploring trade options for a veteran quarterback to either push him or replace him. These 3 crises are not separate problems. They're symptoms of one disease. a team that's talented enough to compete but can't get out of its own way. The Vikings have beaten the Lions and Bears this season, proving they can win against good teams. But they've also lost games they should have won. And the margin for error is gone. 7 games remain. If Minnesota goes 5-1 against winnable opponents and steals one upset against Green Bay, Detroit, or Seattle, they're back in the playoff hunt. But that requires special teams to be flawless, McCarthy to take a developmental leap, and the coaching staff to scheme around injuries instead of using them as excuses. Here's what Skol Nation needs to do right now. 1. Smash that. Like if you believe the Vikings are not pretenders and this team can still make noise in January. 2. Drop a comment with your boldest prediction. Do the Vikings make the playoffs? Does J.J. McCarthy keep his job past this season? Does Kevin O'Connell survive if they miss the postseason? 3. Subscribe because every single subscriber makes Packers fans miserable. And we're about to take over the entire NFC North with noise. But here's the edge of the cliff, and you need to hear this carefully. The Mac Jones trade rumor isn't just smoke. Sources say the Vikings front office has had internal conversations about what it would take to land a veteran, and Jones is one of multiple names on the board. A decision could come in the next 48 hours on whether they pursue a trade this season or wait until the offseason. And here's the rival bomb. Green Bay just cleared $22 million in cap space. They're targeting a veteran quarterback in free agency, and if they land someone before Minnesota makes a move, the North could be lost. Plus, there's a rumor that a Vikings defensive leader called a players-only meeting after the Bears loss. No coaches allowed. And what was said could either unite this locker room or RIP it apart. That story drops next. Skol Nation, the battle is here. The margin is razor thin. Hit subscribe, stay locked, and let's prove to the entire league that Minnesota is not a pretender. We ride together, or we don't ride at all. See you in the next war.